this church.
How about that square and compass? See that square and compass? It's the same as that square and compass. Slightly turned sideways, a little bit different configuration, still a square and still a compass.
Today we've got this square and compass. Charlie Kirk. It's a faith event, and it's got a Pastor Miles from Rutherford who's doing a pointing finger up. But the logo is square and compass. But it's not just a square and compass. They're trying to make that square and compass into the cross. Why is that part important?
Is the cross a symbol of? Many would say Christianity, yet that is far later, an infusion of the occult into the Bible by the Catholic Church. Oops, wait, what? Well, if one wears a cross around their neck, they are, not representing Messiah. It's not his symbol. Exactly. He has no symbols. The Bible doesn't have it. That is not a Bible practice. It is the occult, which relies very heavily on their magic talismans and symbols. However, when an occult icon, such as the cross, a very ancient one, gets inserted into Christianity, it becomes one of the worst doctrines ever. And today, this is considered wrongly the major symbol of Christianity. Well, time to test this. What does history and archaeology demonstrate? What does the Bible actually say? Well, in Hebrew and in Greek, it is not referring to what has become known as the Roman crucifix, indeed. Let's see and test this. We're going to breeze through this in 10 minutes or less, but cover much. The British Museum has this stele on display from ancient Assyria, dated about 800 BC. Now, that's 800 years, roughly, before Yahusha came in the flesh. And, oops, whoa, what is that? That is a cross being used in even more ancient religious practice in Babylon and Assyria, not the Bible. It is the symbol of the sun god, not our Savior. Numerous such have been found, dated to before 1000 BC even, and again, far more ancient in practice, as this is really the Sumerian worship system, one of the older on all of Earth. Should we be wearing and displaying this occult symbol? Even further back, we have the Egyptian Ankh, found in archaeology, dated to before 2000 BC. Wow. That's a cross, but look at the hieroglyph to the left, because someone say, oh, but there's a circle at the top. Yeah, right. Now put Yahusha on the cross, and yeah, you got the same representation. Oops. That is a cross there in the bottom left, definitively. Boom. Now, many scholars know this. It's not news, really, but they ignore it, especially in the church, and most pastors ignore it. Many of them know better. Here's Bible Study Tools admitting this is an occult practice, not of biblical origin. So wait, why is this a centerpiece in most of our churches today then? Why are we coaxed in witchcraft into wearing the symbol of the sun god on our necks? Ouch. They claim the origin of this practice of infusing the sun god symbol into Christianity is Constantine the not-so-great, around 312 AD or so. That's centuries after Yahusha, and wasn't he a high priest of Mithraism? You know, Mithra, the sun god from Persia? Indeed, he was. To his dying day, they claim that he had a deathbed confession, and became a Christian, but what difference does that make? That means his entire life he propagated sun god worship, which is exactly what this is that ends up in the Christian church. And he is the one who claimed to have seen the sign of Yahusha in the sky, a cross in the sun, which is what? Oh, wait a minute. That is exactly what this ancient occult symbol represents. Oops. You mean this is a complete lie? Absolutely, indeed. And it is time to stop the Catholic Church and their encroachment on Yahusha's ecclesia, as they have been, watch after the apostles, those who crept in unawares since their beginning. They are the opposite. Others very closely date the first use of this occult symbol as supposedly Christian within 100 years of Constantine. It's a pretty much same era. And here you go on screen. Does the Bible actually use the word cross referring to the Roman crucifix? Is that what's going on? Actually, no. That is an English insertion into the text, really in fraud, in our modern Bibles, because it's not what the word means. Here's the first and the second use of the word translated as cross wrongly in our modern Bibles in English. The word is stake or tree, and the Bible does not hide that fact, but affirms it many times. And that's the problem here. It's there many times. This is Matthew 10 and 16, and oh, wait a minute, that's long before the supposed crucifixion. Yes, he was definitely killed, sacrificed, but not in a crucifixion necessarily. And supposedly we are to believe, though, that Yahusha somehow invoked a crucifixion for people who were in the crowd who would have no clue what he was talking about. No one would even understand it. He clearly was using a word they understood as a stake, an upright stake. Very simple and very clear. From pulpits, we hear this misrepresented as a Roman crucifix often, but this is well before he was killed, even. So you got to be kidding. Can these scholars even read, is the question far too many times. The Greek word is staros for an upright stake, not a Roman crucifix, which even makes its way into Bible concordances and definitions in fraud. And we find that on several topics. It is never cross. No, even its root word means upright stand, as in upright stake, not crucifix. In the Dictionary of Greek and Roman Antiquities from 1890, we see this explained in historic references. These basically use the false word in definition for crux, as in crucifix, which is, well, not what staros means. Yet in Greek, that is the Bible word, and again, it's not crux. It is an upright stake. That's it. A tree, even. But it's not a Roman crucifix. It's not the reference. It's not what the word means. It's far more ancient as well, and we'll go back to the ancient times for the Bible. And no mixing the occult in the word. Follow through on these histories noted, and none of them reference a Roman cross. You can pause and read for yourself. Go to the reference yourself and check it out. As pictured in our churches, it's not accurate. It's just an upright stake. This is false, and they are inserting the occult into our churches, and our pastors, they're playing along in ignorance, unfortunately, following the traditions of men and abandoning the Bible. Peter and Luke in Acts are very clear. Yahusha was hung on a tree. 3 times here is translated as tree, not a Roman crucifix symbol of the sun god. No. His enemy, whom they also try to associate him in birth, the exact opposite time of year. Watch When Was Jesus Born series. Not a coincidence. Paul, also quoting the Old Testament, refers to the same Greek word, saying, "Cursed is every man who hangs on a tree." Now, this is not a Roman crucifix, and what he's quoting comes from an ancient precedence before there was ever a Rome. This Greek word also leads us to tree or stake, not a Roman crucifix, period. In the origin of the words of Galatians we just saw, Paul quotes is Deuteronomy 21, 22, and 23. In Hebrew, this word tree or upright stake remains, and more than 1,000 years before the Roman Empire even existed, it's not talking about a Roman crucifix. Duh. This is so obvious when one researches it, but look into it further. Prove all things.
So, guys, when you see the square and compass, and they're making a cross, they are not Christians. They are followers of Freemasonry. Square and compass. They are Luciferians. I love you guys. Come out of the beast of Babylon that identifies themselves with those markings.